Good afternoon folks, my name's Toad, you are watching Visordown.com and welcome to the launch of two new bikes. These are of course the Triumph Tiger 900s and we've travelled over to Spain, to Malaga, where we're having a go on-road on both of them, so the GT Pro and also the Rally Pro, and then we'll be riding a full day off-road on just the Rally Pro only. So there is another bike in the Tiger 900 range, which is the GT. So that is now the base model Tiger 900 that you can buy. We're not testing that though, we're sticking with the Pros. So this is the road bias one, which has got the electronically adjustable rear shock unit that it always has. And this is the Rally Pro. So this is the one for going off-road, proper adventure biking and having a play on the dirt. There is a little bit that's changed with the Tiger 900s since we rode them last at the press launch. I think it was the end of 2019. In effect, what Triumph has done is they've given them both a little bit of a minor update. They were kind of due for it. It was the first iteration of the T-Plane crank engine when they came in. And I think what's happened is Triumph have learned quite a lot about the T-Plane concept, and over the time that it's been around, and of course they then brought out the T-Plane version of the Tiger 1200, which kind of stepped it up again even more. So they've learned some lessons, and what they've done, they've applied them to these two new models. So I'm going to go through all of the changes in a little bit more detail with you now.
Okay, so on paper, this model update is fairly low key. All the bikes are still fairly new though, and at 4 years old, a low level update is to be expected. Each of the new model Tigers makes more power than before, with the peak number raising to 106.5 bhp, up from 94 bhp. There's also been a small increase in peak torque, going from 64 pound-foot to 66 pound-foot. The increase in torque may be small, but Triumph has worked more on where the torque is located in the rev range instead of how much torque it can make at any given RPM. The result is a wider spread of usable torque, which is good, but not as impressive as the claimed 9% improvement in fuel economy. So, more power, more torque, more punch in the mid-range, and less fuel consumption. Another change to this year's bike is in the comfort department, and it now features a revised seat across all of the models of the Tiger 900. The seat features thicker padding and is slightly flatter and roomier, and if you opt for either the GT Pro or the Rally Pro, it can be heated too. Another change for 2024 comes in the form of rubber damped handlebars. The T-Plane engine is a joy to use, but it's more vibey than the old 800. Going from that silky smooth traditional triple to the T-Plane setup was a fairly big step. The rubber damped handlebars are a way of smoothing out that transition. On the technology front, each new Tiger now gains the same 7-inch TFT as found on the Tiger 1200, along with the same user interface and mode selection settings. New emergency brake lights are also now fitted to all of the bikes, which gives you positioning lights when you're riding normally, and the indicators begin flashing when you are braking heavily.
So that is both of the new Tiger 900s. So we've got a day off on-road on the GT Pro, we've got a day off-road on the Rally Pro. What I'm going to do is catch up with you once we've ridden both the bikes, and I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about them. So there we have it. That is our riding done. We have finished the road section, we have finished the off-road section. You know everything that is new with the Tiger 900 GT Pro and Rally Pro. I'm going to tell you how that translates to the riding experience on-road and off-road. First of all, starting with the GT Pro that we were riding yesterday on the road, you look at the changes that have been made to the Tiger 900s for this year, and on paper, it doesn't look like there's much. So there's a bit more torque, I think 3 Newton meters, which you're not really going to feel on a bike like this. You've got a bit more punch in the mid-range, and you've got a bit more peak power, so a bit more top-end power. It became immediately evident on this one. You can really feel the updates to the engine. I'm not just saying that, I've ridden so many of these bikes in terms of the GTs and the Rallys, and also the other iterations of the Tiger 900, that I've got a pretty good feeling of how that engine performs on the road and the characteristics of it when you open the throttle. It didn't take very long at all. I would say probably about a mile into the road ride on the GT Pro to realise realise that it is much punchier and it's got more guts in the mid-range of the rev range. So that is very, very good. There's another thing, and this is something that Triumph haven't really made a big deal out of, and it comes down to the vibrations. So we've now got rubber damped handlebars on the Tiger 900 GT Pro and the Rally Pro, and also the base model GT. Now Triumph haven't really done anything else to the engine to make it smoother or to make it feel a little bit less vibey when you're cruising on it at motorway speeds, but it is so much smoother than the old engine. We can't really get to grips with it because it's not the vibrations of the previous Tiger 900s that I've ridden. It all comes sort of through the frame and through the fuel tank and through the seat. Yeah, the seat has changed, so there's a bit more padding in the seat, so there's some extra comfort there which might absorb some of those vibrations, but there's more to it than that. I think part of it is that they've cleaned up the combustion of the engine for the latest generation 2024 Tiger 900s, and I think that has sort of just changed the way that the engine fires a little bit, and it's just smoothed it down. There is a lot of that resonant vibration that you used to get, which, to be honest with you, I didn't really have a problem with on the previous generation Tiger 900s. I didn't have a huge problem with it, but some people did. This is noticeably much, much smoother when you're cruising at motorway speeds. Everything about this bike, everything else about this bike is still an absolute joy. If you never go off-road and you want a road-biased adventure bike that's a bit sporty, it's comfortable, it's got decent tank range, room for two plus luggage, and all the tech and kit that you need, heated seats, heated grips, turn-by-turn navigation or full screen nav through the screen, there isn't really a lot that you can dislike about the Tiger 900 GT Pro. It is just an absolute weapon of a bike. We had a ball on it on these roads over here in Malaga, just, you know, riding around, sliding into corners and doing wheelies and skids. And it's still, for me, up there as one of the best road biased middleweight adventure bikes that you can go out and buy. The T-plane crank really changed the game when they introduced it. It was such a good feature in the way that it changed the delivery of the bike, giving you that best of both worlds delivery, that it's a low RPM, it feels like a V-twin, and then when you get higher up in the rev range, it starts to feel more like a triple. And this update, yes, on paper it might not look like much, but what that translates to in terms of the riding experience is really very noticeable. So I'm going to turn my attention to the Rally Pro, which I've always had a soft spot for these. I went on the Tiger 800 launch before the T-plane crank in Morocco back in about 2018, 2019, had an absolute ball on it. Then Triumph brought out the T-plane engine, and it just, that character of having a V-twin at low RPM and a triple at higher RPM just made it so much more tractable and so much more easy to ride when you're in an off-road or a dirt situation. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's got all the same updates as the GT Pro, so you've got the same increase in torque, the 3 Newton meters, you've still got more punch, more mid-range, and you've still got the increase in the peak power, so you've got over 100 bhp now. This really is still, I mean, the versatility of this bike in terms of what it can do if you're a talented off-road rider. I mean, we've seen Ivan Cervantes, you know, as a multiple Enduro world champion, absolutely hooning one of these round at the Triumph Adventure Experience earlier on today. And when you think about it in that context, and he's leaping this thing, you know, 15, 25 foot through the air, landing it, sliding it, wheeling up hills that I wouldn't be able to ride up if I was on a trials bike. And he's doing all of that on this, which is a road legal adventure bike that's got a TFT with turn-by-turn navigation, heated seat, heated grips, adjustable screen, room for two, luggage, everything. It's just incredible. It's such a versatile machine, and even in Rally Pro trim, this can still do all of the stuff that this can. It can still do the long tours, it can still do the commuting through winter, it will keep you warm, it will keep you dry, it will keep you safe. Yeah, I've absolutely loved this weekend. I've also got to say, this place where we've been riding the last couple of days, the Triumph Adventure Experience in Spain, there is nowhere in the UK that you can come in November, December and ride for that length of time that we've been riding today, for that distance on trails that are just so beautiful and sweeping and open, with the beautiful scenery, the lovely weather, and of course the gorgeous bikes. You've got top class instructors. If you're looking for some winter sun and you don't fancy going and doing some green laning in the UK, get a few of your mates together, check out the Triumph Adventure Experience in Spain. They've got a host of courses, tours, bike rentals. They do the whole thing right out of Malaga. So you've got cheap hotels, cheap flights. Why would you go anywhere else? That is the question. Why would you go anywhere else to get your wintertime adventure biking fix? Listen folks, I've waffled on for far too long already. I've been told you're watching Visordown, and if you've liked that video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our latest videos. And for all the latest news, reviews and motorcycle features, get yourself over to Visordown.com. Cheers folks.